lightly popping my rod tip up a couple times and then giving it about 1 crank so I have some nice slack in the line. All right guys, I'm gonna show you how these Spartan minis on these hooks here. As soon as I switch back to pink, there we go, got them on a micro. Doing real soft bites. Got him slacklined, I barely felt the bite. Good fighter though, for his size. There we go, good little fish. There it goes. Chunky bro. See which color you get. Oh, get out of that line. Looks like hit that yellow. Good size one. Man, you ran all the way over there. Nicer size one. See, this is a perfect example of just ranch fish. See how the gills are all messed up and protruding out like that? That's a gill disease, and they get that from overcrowding in the runs.
No way. No way.
It's due to a high level of ammonia in the water. All right, ladies and gents, I want to take a break from the video real quick to show you exactly what I'm doing out there. I'm using a double drop shot, and I'll show you the rod I'm using. It's an ultralight rod, 7'6", and then I've got a 1000 series reel on here. This is a Katana K5 and a Daiwa Presso, but any ultralight rod, 7'6" to 8 foot, will work with any 1500 series or even a 2000 series reel. For line, I have 4-pound Phoenix iron feather braid on here, and then I attach a fluorocarbon leader up here with a double uni knot with 6 wraps each side, and the fluorocarbon leader is 5 pounds. Sometimes I use a 4. I jump back and forth between a 5-pound Runkle fluorocoat and the Seagar 4-pound fluorocarbon, pure fluorocarbon. Both are excellent lines. Don't get too hung up on which brands. It's just I prefer fluorocarbon. You can get away with mono. Fluorocarbon just a little bit stronger and a little bit more rigid so you can detect more bites, and it's a little bit clearer in the water. But mono also works and has a little bit more stretch than fluorocarbon does, even though fluorocarbon does have a little bit of stretch. So sometimes it'll help you keep fish on the line because you need a little bit of a shock absorber, because this braid has zero stretch. So lots of times when you're setting hooks, you can be pulling the hook right out of the fish's mouth. So it's always good to have a leader. Also, the leader helps with visibility in the water. They're virtually unseeable by the fish, especially in murky water. So I'm going to show you the rig and all the baits I'm using and how I hook them up. Okay guys, this is the rig I'm using, and these are the baits that have been hitting out there. This is a basic double drop shot rig with 2 number 8 mosquito hooks. You can also use number 10. With hook size, it really comes down to personal preference. 8 works, it's a hair bigger, and 10 works. They both work great. I just prefer the 8s. I feel like I get more successful hookups on bites with the 8s than with the 10s, but I also use 10s, so don't get too hung up on that. I'll put a link up here to my how to fish double drop shot video, and it shows you how to tie these drop shot rigs. If you notice in the last video, I do not have dropper loops. This is just a basic double drop shot because it just wasn't necessary the way the fish were biting. At the bottom, here's a drop shot weight. This is a 1/16 ounce drop shot weight, which is what I've been using lately. If you can go as light as possible, that's always ideal. There's no wind on this day, so it's easy to cast, and there's a lot of snags in Parado, so this really helps with the lighter one. I can bounce this rig over a lot of the debris in the water and save myself a lot of time and headache. Now the baits, what's hitting the best is this one right here, this pink
Idiot.
This pink micro minnow. And they just seem to love this one. They're also hitting the electric lemon micro minnow, and then these 2 mini Spartan minnows. These are new, but this one's Big Stick, and this one's Colombian Bam Bam. So what you can tell by looking at these baits, they're hitting brights. I tried blacks, I tried some muted colors, some more natural colors. They just weren't working. They weren't hitting them. They wanted the bright stuff. So that's why I always say have a good assortment of different colored baits, because you just never know what they're going to want any particular day. So I switched around to a bright, and turns out that's what they wanted, but especially this pink. Now I'll show you how I hook these on. I always start on the micro minnows. There's a flat spot at the top. I look at that as the back. You can see, you probably can't see on camera, there's little tiny eyeballs here, but that's what I consider the back of the minnow, as the rounded part would be the belly. And same thing with these mini Spartans. Same thing, you got a little eyeball there, and you got a kind of rounded part which looks like the stomach, and then little bumps, or I call them scoots, is the spine of the bait. So what I like to do is, I'll show you with the micro, and it's the same with the minis as well, is I will flip the minnow over and put the point of the hook and have the shank of the hook facing the spine, or what do you call it, horizontal with the spine, and push it in just a little bit, because these are very short baits. So I just go to where it just starts to go around the corner of the hook, and then I push it through the back and slide it up so it's as straight as possible, and it's right like that. And so you got a lot of hook coming out, but the fish aren't going to notice this. It's a dark colored hook. The water's murky. You're not normally doing drop shot in clear water. So that usually doesn't matter that you can see that much hook, and you should get a lot more hookups. Also, I like to push the bait all the way up to the eye of the hook. And what that does is it alerts me to bites, because sometimes fish are going to bite real light and it's not going to feel like a fish. But when I get the bait back in, I'll feel something out there. I figure it's a leaf or a stick, and my bait looks like that. Now I know, and there's no weeds on here or anything, I know a fish grabbed onto it, but they did it so lightly it didn't feel like a normal bite. So that's important, because now I'm going to start keying in on, like, okay, they're biting real light. So I got to really concentrate on setting my hooks quick when I feel anything. Do a light quarter hook set to see if I can bury the tip of this hook in there, maybe feel a little head shake, and then give it a full hook set and really drive it home. But if you aren't feeling those or noticing those little tiny bites and thinking it's just debris in the water, you're gonna miss a lot of fish. All right, now we'll go back to the lake for a quick segment. I'll show you exactly how I'm fishing these. All right, guys, show you what I'm doing. To cast it out, let the bait go all the way to the bottom, and I'm just lightly popping my rod tip up a couple times and then giving it about one crank so I have some nice slack in the line. And that's when they're hitting it, is when that bait, they see it move and then it goes slack and goes still, and that's when they're picking it up. So I just raise the rod tip like that and then about a crank, and got a nice little bit of slack in there. Sometimes I'll just jig it right here, let it go a little bit more slack, and just keep repeating that process till we get bit again. All right, guys, there you have it. Let's see if I can keep on them, and let's get back to the video. I'm gonna hit big stick that time. Oh, no net on this one. No net. A better size one. There we go, big stick right there. Go on the RHA spoon. Got him on that bleeding ghost. There we go, bleeding ghost. As soon as I switch back to pink, I've been loving pink today. There we go, real nice one right there. All right, guys, there you have it. Good times out of Parada. I haven't been there in a minute. I don't think I went once last season. But the biggest takeaway today was they wanted the bait slack lined. And like I showed you, I was just working it in real slow, a few pops, and then dipping my rod tip and letting it get a lot of slack in the line. And lots of times of just watching the line, I wouldn't feel the bite, but I could detect it. I could see the line just jump a second, and I'd set the hook, and the fish was on there. That was the only way they seemed to want those baits. And I tried full-size Spartans. I tried throwing mini jigs for a minute, and nothing. They just wanted those brightly colored micros and those mini Spartans, and that's what they're after. And it took me a good probably 2 hours before I figured out the bite. I wasn't getting anything until I started doing the slack line, letting it sit a little bit longer, and then I started having some success, and then things really started rolling as I got a feel for it. And that's the way this stuff works as far as drop shot and mini jigs. Especially if you're just starting out, a lot of it takes getting fish on your line and knowing when the bite is and detecting the bite. More so on the drop shot, because you're gonna lots of times get a lot more finicky bites, a lot softer bites. because it's darker and the conditions aren't great for the fish. Mini jigs, a lot of times you'll usually get some decent bites. Once in a while they'll short bite it, but most of the time they're going to hit it because it's moving a lot faster. But on the drop shot, you're going much slower, so they have their time. So sometimes they'll just nibble at it, or they'll just suck it in their mouth and they won't swim away. They'll just suck it and spit it out real quick. So you got to watch your line. Any movement, little twitch that's not wind, and give it a quarter hook set and see what you got, because lots of times it's going to be a fish. The other thing, kind of a bummer, that those fish with the gill disease. I'll show you some pictures of fish from other lakes, but I started noticing it every time I went to a lake that stocked just ranch. I would say 40 to 60% of the fish have that disease where the gills are protruding out. So I looked it up, and it's basically a gill disease, and it comes from the fish being overcrowded in the runs. And basically the fish suck up all the oxygen and they expel, like we expel carbon monoxide. I forget what they expel, but it turns into an ammonia-like solution in the water, and they keep breathing that in, and their gills start to get diseased. Good news is it's recoverable. So in lakes like Parada, the fish don't survive, but like say Green Valley or Gregory, some of the mountain lakes where the fish can survive year round, they can recover from it. They just need some good oxygenated water, and eventually the gills will repair themselves. But it's just unfortunate that we have to deal with fish like that. But they are good to eat. They're fine to catch. So don't worry about it. It's not like a parasite or anything. It's just they're not breathing good, unfortunately. So you can eat them, and they're safe to catch and all that. It's just unfortunate that the hatchery practices that way, and those are the fish we're getting right now local. So hopefully we'll get some more better fish in the future, or Jess Ranch will clean up their act and give us some much more healthier and bigger fish. So with that, there's a QR code right here. If you want any of the products I use on this channel, like Golden State Fishing Custom Baits, the RHA Spoons, the WaterLand sunglasses, or the Katana rods, just click on this QR code. It'll take you to a link tree, and discount codes and hyperlinks are all set up in there. So if you want any of the products, you can get up to 15% off. So it's a really good deal. They're excellent products, or I wouldn't use them on the channel. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Leave lots of comments. If you have questions, please leave a comment. If you've seen fish like that with the gill disease at these other lakes, please let me know. Or if you think I'm off base and it's not Jess Ranch and it's something else, let me know. I certainly don't know everything. This is just from my research, my own observation. So I am not 100% sure, but it certainly seems that way. Always check me out on my Instagram page at Sea Spanker Outdoors. Oh, and Max Fishing Reports. He's on Facebook and Instagram. Andrew Mack gives out all the information. He compiles where they're stocking all over the state practically, and he puts it out. And he'll go live on his channels if something comes across his desk, some breaking news, if it has to do with fish stocking in California. He'll give you the information. So look him up on either Facebook or Instagram and follow him. He's one of the dudes I get a lot of my intel from. So it's an excellent resource. So check it out. So with that, I'm going to be up at Pyramid next week. So I'm not going to be out fishing much this week at all. I'm going to be getting ready for that. I got the Fin and Feather opener coming up. I have a couple of mud hole videos coming up. Another one where I did some underwater footage, and I got a lot of cool stuff. So looking forward to putting that one out and editing that and putting it all together for you guys. So a lot of good things coming, as well as some more how-tos. So a lot of things coming down the pike with the channel, and hope you guys like it. So hope to see you guys out there, and tight lines.